Okay, so moving on to the next one. It's interesting. We have Jay Lethal versus Lee Moriarty with Matt Seidel in the corner. What's interesting about that is that Jay Lethal, even though he signed to AEW, Ring of Honor is his home. He's a Ring of Honor alumni. He's a Ring of Honor former world champion, and it's kind of interesting. I'm like thinking about it because he has technically what you could consider a home field advantage, even though he is signed to AEW. So that could play a factor in like the whole mindset of the match itself. But I think I'm going to go with, I think it's going to be an interesting match because I know Lee Moriarty has some skills, but Jay Lethal's Jay Lethal. I got to go with Lethal on this one.
This is a tough one because, like you said, yeah, Jay Lethal. I mean, in fact, before the whole thing, before Ring of Honor went down and stuff, during the time that Ring of Honor was going down, Jay Lethal was their first, big hot signing in AEW. So it's kind of weird, like, so quickly going back there to familiar territory and all that. But I don't know, man. I kind of want to give it to Lee Moriarty just because he is incredibly skilled. And even though I think he was mostly on Dark, a lot of people were kind of like, oh, yeah, like when he came in. So he does have like a big fan base and stuff. And I like that one promo where he said something along the lines of, like, he wants to make it big now. He has to try now, because he's got, family, he's got, kids, he's got, he needs to make that money. And it's like, I ain't going to be, waiting for a whole bunch of, like, Dark matches and work my way up and whatever. No, I want that money now, baby, and all that. So he's really, like, trying hard to pave the way. I believe he had a good match against the American Dragon for the whole violence and all that stuff. So yeah, this is going to be epic. Jay Lethal versus him. But I kind of want to go the other side here and go for Lee Moriarty just to see. And also for the big shock factor. Imagine Jay Lethal coming back to Ring of Honor so soon after the whole thing and he gets taken down by Lee Moriarty. That would probably make the house pop.
Also the fact that, I mean, the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view, Final Battle, which was the end of an era, the final match was Jonathan Gresham versus Jay Lethal for the world title. So the fact that Jay Lethal lost that, and for him to come back and try to get like a whole redemption angle, but lead us halt him, that could be I agree. That would be a huge like pop shock for a lot of people. Like, whoa! As long as he earns it. And I don't know, is Matt Seidel's not a villain, is he?
Okay, so I'm going to go with, I guess, the most popular pick, Jay Lethal, because he's a familiar face of the Ring of Honor, and hopefully, he'll get his redemption and win this match. So, anything can happen, but it'll also be very interesting to see how this plays out.
For me, it was cool because when I was like randomly getting into Ring of Honor back then, just watching here and there before, AEW existed and stuff, I was lucky enough to tune into the match where Jay Lethal actually like won the title. I think it was a 3 or 4-way match between Cody, Dalton Castle, and Jay Lethal, and so I guess it's 3-way. So and he won it, and that was cool. I got to see that match, But the cool thing about Jay Lethal is way back in the day, though. Ooh yeah, he was doing like the machismo gimmick. I was like so confused. When I played like this, it was for the PlayStation. It was Impact Wrestling. Well, back then it was still called TNA. It was called TNA.
Black Machismo, Jay Lethal, yep.
Yeah, so I'm playing it, I'm watching it, and I'm confused because holy shit, because Kevin Nash is like a top booker there, and then like he comes in, like when he first comes in, I'm like, who is this Macho Man wannabe? What? Like I was so confused, but it was like everything, mannerisms, clothes, a big hat, everything. I'm like, what the?
You want to know a little fun story? Is a bit of a tangent. A real fun story. Jay Lethal actually talked about this in an interview. He was coming up with that character of the Black Machismo, and it was basically the whole story was basically like he'd gotten into a concussion or whatever, and then like he woke up and he thought he was Macho Man. So that was the whole joke of it. But he literally, this is before he died, he actually asked Macho Man if it was okay with him, because he said, I would only do it if it was okay with him. So he had literally said, Mach literally said, "You got to come here to my house and ask me in person," and then he did, and then he said, "Okay, do the voice for me," and he did it, and he did the imitation, and he goes, "Yeah, you can do it. I'm totally fine with it." So I'm like, so he got the blessing from the man himself. So at least he did that. And then what was it? In All In, I don't know if you remember in All In, he showed up, but they kind of made it that like he was like possessed by the spirit of Macho Man. So it's something like that. But that was the whole, I mean, because it was all, the first show All In, people forget, the first All In was very cheesy. We all have to admit that. Not Double or Nothing, not AEW's official, but the predecessor was so cheesy. we all have to admit that. If you rewatch it, you're gonna be like, "Ooh, this is really bad." Yeah. but I mean, Lethal has always been, you know, he's a freaking master in the ring, and I'm sure he's going to be eventually in the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. Now that they've created a Ring of Honor Hall of Fame, you know, I'm sure Jay will go in it one day.
All right, so with that, DJF also went for Jay Lethal, so I guess that kind of gets us to the next match there. Now another thing, again, well, no, I guess it wouldn't be a story build-up because Jay Lethal's in AEW. Do any of these matches have like a big build-up thing?
Only two of them. Only the two main matches. The rest of them were kind of a little put together because, like I said, remember everyone had their contract severed, so everyone was up in limbo.
Okay, so we'll save those two ones best for last then.
Yep. So the next match is the Ring of Honor Pure Championship. The Primal Beast, the Technical Beast, Josh Woods versus Wheeler Yuta. I know you guys have never seen Josh Woods, I'm sure, but he's earned the right to call himself the Beast because he is like if you took the body of Roman Reigns, but the technical ability of Bryan Danielson. And he's young. So he's got way more like stuff to prove. And he beat Jonathan Gresham to win that title, which already is more of an accomplishment than people can realize because how good Gresham literally right now in wrestling, there are three names that are considered the best technical wrestlers on the planet. It's Bryan Danielson, Zack Sabre Jr., and Jonathan Gresham. Those three are the best technical wrestlers on the planet, period. You know, come at me in the comments, but that's true. That's stone cold fact. But for him to beat Jonathan Gresham in a pure match, clean, and become the Ring of Honor Pure Champion is like nothing short of, especially for someone as fairly young as he is, because he's only in his mid to late 20s, is a very high accomplishment. And Wheeler Yuta, of course, you guys know who Wheeler Yuta is. He is not quite used as well in AEW, but he was a part of Ring of Honor for quite a while. And he was elevated slightly more. He was kind of going into the world television title picture until, of course, they cut the plug. But Wheeler Yuta does have a lot of technical ability as well. So the whole premise of a pure match is kind of different from a regular match because the pure title match, a pure match goes like this. You fight, you can't close fist punch someone. You can only close fist punch someone once. If you punch them twice, the match is over, you're disqualified. There are only 3 rope breaks per person. That's it. So and after that, you can literally wrap someone up in the ropes and like make them tap out. You can do all of that stuff. You can't go outside of the ring for more than a 10 or 20 count, I believe. And you can only win via pinfall or submission, so you can't win via disqualification. It has to be, that's why it's called a pure match. And the pure rules was created by, back in the day, but Bryan Danielson was like the master of the pure rules match. But I digress. So Josh Woods versus Wheeler Yuta in a pure match is just going to be nothing short of a technical style wrestling masterpiece. So I don't know, maybe not masterpiece, but a technical style match that I think everyone that likes technical style wrestling, like Kurt Angle or Bryan Danielson, you'll enjoy it. So for that, I'm going to stick with my gut and go with Josh Woods. Who do you guys got? Josh Woods or Wheeler Yuta?
I think I'm going to go for Josh Woods. I guess it's kind of like the reverse. It's kind of weird. I guess it kind of goes WWE, then AEW, then Ring of Honor, I guess, because Wheeler Yuta on AEW has mostly been used as the replacement for, I think it was Trent that got injured or something and stuff until he finally came back.
Said, yeah, it was Trent, I believe it was.
Okay. So, like, I don't know. I mean, the Best Friends got good matches and all that stuff, but I don't know. They're not making as much waves. I mean, they're good for a good match, but So I guess I'm kind of, my mind's kind of tainted by Wheeler Yuta hanging out with them and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Josh Woods and see what he's got. This is my first time seeing him and everything, so that'd be kind of cool. I'm just kind of curious, how technical is Wheeler Yuta? Is that, I mean, most of those matches are what we like to call flippy shit, so I haven't really kept much track of that. Like
in AEW, because what's interesting about Wheeler Yuta, he's predominantly he's pretty well rounded in actuality. So he can do a lot of really good ground mat wrestling, but primarily he uses more lucha libre high flying. So it's kind of like weirdly enough, I know they don't really show it much in AEW. Weirdly enough, Penta El Cierro Miedo, he can actually wrestle really well in technical wrestling, but they don't use that. It's more of like the high fly stuff. Wheeler Yuta is very similar to that. So he's primarily lucha, but he can do really good in-ring ground mat wrestling. So it's going to be a really good match because they're both really good technically, but it's kind of like, if I were to give it a scale of 10, I would say Wheeler's about a 5.5, and Woods is about a 7.5. So it's like just enough. It's going to be good though. But who knows? I mean, I've seen shocking things in pure matches too, so it could really go either way. But I like I said, I'm going to stick with Woods because, like I said, yeah, he's really talented. So I'm curious to see. Plus, there's also a huge height difference. Like, there's a really big height difference.
Well, I'm going to give it to Josh Woods, and I see that DJF actually gave it to Wheeler Yuta, so I'm kind of curious. I wish he was here so I could kind of hear his reasoning and all that, but he is going for Wheeler Yuta to take the title. And what do you think, Johnny?
I think I'm also going to be, Josh Woods. I mean, it's going to be a very interesting match. Every time it happens, just with both people that are very technical, it gets very, it gets very technical, But it'll be interesting to watch.
Well, I heard what they're going to essentially do is because a lot of people are thinking, oh, well, Ring of Honor is where all the scraps of AEW are going to go. And I'm like, no. Knowing Tony Khan, he is a huge fan of Ring of Honor. He is. He's a really big fan of Ring of Honor because that's kind of the stuff that really got him into real actual wrestling and not WWE mark stuff. But I'm curious that I believe that what he's going to do is he's going to try to basically make Ring of Honor its own separate thing, but he's going to allow an open door policy for AEW talent that want to work over there. So that's my theory. At least I'm hoping that's the case, because if it's just, hey, anyone we don't want to use, go to AEW, go to Ring of Honor, I'm going to be really irritated because I'm like, this show deserves more than that, because it's Ring of Honor. It has a legacy.
Well, I mean, it all depends too, because maybe they're whatever, but then the guy could be the top dog in Ring of Honor or one of the top dogs. So I mean, I guess it kind of varies too.
All right, so moving on to the next match. We have Swerve Strickland versus Alex Zane, which this is what I would refer to as a mirror match. For those that aren't familiar with what a mirror match is, imagine like a wrestler whose style is very distinct and very unique, and then another wrestler whose style is so similar that they can almost match each other move for move. So think, good example would be Will Ospreay versus Ricochet. Another example would be Sonata versus, or Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega. If they were to fight, it'd be like fighting a mirror. Alex Zane and Swerve Strickland are so similar that I legitimately believe that this match could be a coin flip. Who could win? I really do. But I will say, and I may be in the minority here, since Swerve Strickland has left NXT, he has gotten a lot, and I mean a lot, sloppier in the ring. There are things that he does where he's way more slow-paced. He's way more, rhythm. He used to have a really quick rhythm when he wrestled. But since he's been in AEW, it's so slowed down. And I'm not sure if that's his opponent or if it's him. I've also noticed that his body has gotten not as fit as it was. Because if you pull up a picture of him now and you pull up a picture of him in NXT he was really cut, he was really slim, he was like really quick paced, but now he's kind of heavier, he's a little slower paced, and Alex Zane wrestles in a very similar style to him. So, and Alex Zane has been consistent. So I'm going to, just based off of that criteria, I'm going to pick Alex Zane. But, again, this could be a coin flip of a match for me.
So, in other words, Swerve's been having some of Chris Jericho's poutine. They've been sharing.
Yes. The only thing he shouldn't be swerving is the Jew. No, I'm kidding.
I'm going to go for Swerve because, yeah, I mean, he's a hot new face in AEW. He's been kind of rocking it up on Elevation. I believe, or I hope so anyways, especially since now they've started to advertise it. I would not be surprised. No, how would that work? They're going to probably air Rampage at the same time as they're airing Supercard. I don't know. But if it's not, then they'll probably be advertising it or whatever. So I'm thinking if they want to do some crossover between AEW and Ring of Honor, I mean, it'll probably sell to have, like, Swerve take him down and win the match. So I'm going to go for Swerve, even though Alex Zane sounds pretty impressive, but we'll check that out.
I think they're doing Rampage, like, at an earlier time, because Friday is going to be a really great night for wrestling, because literally at the same time as Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor, they're also going, I mean, that same night, but it was already pre-filmed. Don't tell anybody. The same night, they're doing the multiverse of matches for TNA, and it's at WrestleCon. So that's a big thing that's happening as well. So I'll get back to that later in the show. But Friday is going to be it's going to be a wrestling night. Just saying.
Is it going to be like a 3-hour show or something? I just noticed it's going to be 8 o'clock Eastern. And, I mean, I might catch it in time. It depends on my job's kind of unpredictable at times. But then I'm confused.
I believe it's going to be about... I think it's going to be about a probably 3 to 3.5 hour show, most likely.
Oh, then what are they going to do? Because, like...
And I think Fight TV, I think they allow replays as well, so...
Well, yeah, I know that,
yeah,
but I'm talking about in terms of Rampage, because it's kind of like, don't miss our show,
Rampage.
But also watch our show, and you know what I mean? Like...
I don't know. Maybe they're going to do a special start time, or maybe they'll just mention it. I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe they're just testing the waters of it coming back right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, be sure to watch our show, but, change the channel, or, well, not change the channel, but go to Fight TV and watch the pay-per-view instead. Hey, it's like you're kind of competing against yourself, like...
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, Tony's getting all the money, so I guess that's all that matters. But the one thing I will say that I'm happy that Tony, of all people, bought Ring of Honor because of the fact that Ring of Honor's biggest problem it's ever had has never been talent. It's never been quality. It's never been anything involving like the actual people in the ring or behind the scenes. It's always been, yes, on the management side, but not on like, the technical level. But it's always been their inability to market properly and their inability to merchandise properly. And Tony Khan, I will give him kudos. He's very good at promoting. He's very good at marketing. So with his ability, his money, and backing, Ring of Honor could be like a second tier AEW like level of wrestling show alternative for, like, say it's like, hey, I don't like WWE. No, I don't like AEW. Ooh, this Ring of Honor thing's kind of good. You know what I'm saying? Like, or vice versa. Or like, oh, I don't like Ring of Honor, but I do like this AEW thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's good. Variety adds more potential, and I'm happy that Tony's in charge of that. I was really hoping that he would buy it, and I'm glad he did.
And hey, whatever takes money out of Vince's wallet. Like, AEW, Ring of Honor, that's not good shit.
He really missed an opportunity here because legitimately Vince could have made millions off of just the the playback videos of Ring of Honor, because half of his damn roster came from Ring of Honor, and he could be like, hey, remember Seth Rollins? Here's him in Ring of Honor.
I'm also going to go with Addict Sane.
Oh, so you also think that Poutine's going to slow down Swerve?
Yeah, it might be.
All right, and DJF picked...
Oh, he also... Yeah, I mentioned... Oh, no, I didn't mention. He picked Swerve as well.
Ah, okay. So we got another split down the middle.
Yep, we sure do.
All right, so the match that everyone, and I mean everyone, has been hyped for and waiting for... It has been building for at least several months. Dem Boys versus Top Guys. The Briscoe Brothers versus FTR for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. I am so hyped for this because, in my opinion, and I don't necessarily just say this as an opinion, I believe it's a stone cold fact. The Briscoe Brothers are the best tag team on the planet. They have won every... they have the record for the most Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. They've had 12 now. They've beaten the Gorillas of Destiny. They've beaten the Hardy Boys. They've beaten so many, like, iconic tag teams, and FTR is yet another on that list of teams that they're going to beat. And what makes it really interesting is this whole feud started out of disrespect, where at Ring of Honor's final battle, the Briscoes fought the OGK, which is Matt Taven and Mike Bennett. They're also Ring of Honor alumni, two of the best tag teams of Ring of Honor's history, or most well-loved. And they beat them. It was a matter of respect. They hugged each other, gave each other a shake. And then FTR came in and beat the hell out of them and sucker punched them and basically tried one-upping them, because the Briscoes flat out said, when FTR said, we're the best tag team on the planet, no one could ever beat us, the Briscoes, being the Briscoes, literally said, bring that shit, take that shit outside because it's starting to smell, bring that shit in the ring and prove it. And they did. So that's what this whole feud has been based around, is Dem Boys are going to mess the Top Guys up. And what makes it even more interesting is the same night that this match is airing, at Multiverse of Matches, the Briscoes are also going to be fighting another iconic tag team, the Good Brothers. So, the Briscoes are going to end up, in my mind, I think they're going to do a full clean sweep, beating the Good Brothers and beating FTR and retaining the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And they also just won the GCW Tag Team Champions, and I believe another tag, and they won the Crockett Cup. So they just add more and more to their resume. I know you guys, I don't know if you guys have ever watched the Briscoes, but the best way I can describe their wrestling style is imagine if Brody Lee combined his style with Eddie Guerrero. It's kind of like no, not quite like that. It's more like if Brody Lee combined his style with I'm trying to think of another tag team. Kind of similar to FTR. So if FTR and Brody Lee combine their styles, they're very hard hitting. They're very like you got Mark Briscoe, who's very crazy, and you got Jay Briscoe, who's very more technically he's more like focused, but they hit hard and they do not stop. So
are they kind of like the Den Boys version of Santana Ortiz, kind of sort of?
No, they're called Dem Boys because they're from the Bayou, and they're like hillbillies, but they literally grew up on a farm and had to learn how to wrestle from scratch, and they have their own wrestling ring in their farm. They've literally been wrestling for they're going into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame, actually. They were at Jay Briscoe was at the very first match in Ring of Honor history. And his brother, who wasn't even 18 yet, was also at ringside, and then eventually they teamed up together. Jay Briscoe's the one with the long dreadlocks. Mark Briscoe's the one with no teeth and bald.
Oh my God.
And funny enough, little fun fact, there was actually when Danhausen eventually wrestles, which eventually he will, his signature finishing move, which you're going to probably be either laughing about or very grossed out or both, he has a jar of teeth he carries around, and he would shove it down your throat and then super kick you, literally knocking the teeth out of you.
No comment.
But one of Danhausen's last matches was against Mark Briscoe, who famously is missing his front teeth completely. So Danhausen did the teeth spot, but then Mark knocked him out, and him, and then at the end of the match, Mark spit out the teeth. He's like, "Look, I finally got teeth. I got the teeth."
Oh my goodness.
He's also the master of redneck karate, as he calls it.
Oh God, that sounds like one hell of a party. Then I did notice that the Briscoes were also in this week's episode of NWA Power, so they've been around, like you said, they've been making the rounds. It's kind of funny though, because if they're going to be fighting against the Briscoes, the FTR, and also fighting against the Good Brothers on the same night, the same time, because one of them was pre-recorded. It's like, oh my God, the Briscoes are warping reality and time and space to get all the titles all at once, you know. But,
exactly.
Yeah, I'm going to go for the Briscoes retaining their title. It would be one hell of a big shock if FTR won it. FTR, I don't know. They're impressive and all that good stuff, but I kind of see them kind of like the Good Brothers, where they're also impressive, but to me, they just look like just two guys. You know what I mean? It's like even the Briscoe boys got this wild, crazy kind of style about them, and most of the other AEW teams got some wild, crazy style. But for me, at least visual-wise, FTR and the Good Brothers, they just look like, okay, just those two random dudes. They have good talent though, lots of good moves, lots of stuff. But I don't know, man. Nothing about them in particular really gets me super like excited about, like, at least their overall character and gimmick, I should say. Not so much their wrestling, not their skill. It's just the overall look and presentation. And with the Briscoes, they got their style. They got their wild, crazy shit. So, yeah, I'm going to go for the Briscoes on this one. And on that note, I noticed that, what's his name? DJF also went for the Briscoes. And you said that you're also going for the Briscoes because they're going to basically take them all?
Yep. I think this is what I honestly think is going to happen. And I hope this happens. And you would probably be like, oh shit, if the Briscoes beat the Good Brothers, they beat FTR, then later, not right away, let's say a couple weeks, come closer to Double or Nothing, they show up and they challenge Jurassic Express for the AEW titles.
Yeah, I mean that would blow the roof off the house, man.
I mean, like, it was funny because what sucked was and this really sucked because, like, a couple weeks ago, they had planned this for months in advance before, his injury. It was a huge historical thing that was happening in AAA, and it was the first time ever the Briscoes versus the Lucha Brothers. But Rey Fenix is injured, so they had to substitute. But it was still a great match. But it just, it didn't have the, like, oh man, one day. So that could happen now. That could happen in the future once Rey Fenix is good to go. We could see the Lucha Bros versus the Briscoe brothers. So it's like, ooh, brother versus brother. And then, like, the Hardy Boys could fight him again, or, whatever.
Oh, I got a question because my first watching of the Young Bucks were when they were still in Ring of Honor. Have they gone up against the Young Bucks?
Oh, yeah. They destroyed the Young Bucks.
Oh, God.
Young Bucks have never been able to beat them. Like, it's funny because, okay, I in wrestling, how there's there are in New Japan they coined a term which I believe is true in almost every wrestling promotion, referred to as forever rivals. What that means is regardless of where a specific wrestler or wrestlers go in their careers, they have a certain rival that brings out the best in them, like ones that they fear fighting, or ones that bring out the best for better or for worse. So, like, good example would be the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, and Dudleys. They were forever rivals. Or Cena and Orton, or Rock and Austin. So the Good Brothers, the Young Bucks, they're forever rivals back in Ring of Honor were always Red Dragon. So it is funny that they're kind of having this kind of back and forth with them. And the forever rivals for the Briscoes have always been the forever rivals for the Briscoes have always been the Gorillas of Destiny, because they were the only tag team that brought out, like, the best of them. They've lost, like, I think the first time they ever fought, they went to like 60 minutes and they couldn't beat each other. Like, they literally passed. They both passed out. All of them passed out. Like, it was like that heated. Like, that's how hard they go at people. And then, like, I think FTR's forever rivals would be Tommaso Ciampa and Gargano. And ironically, they're not in WWE anymore, allegedly, so they could show up on AEW. Who knows? But anyway, I digress. But yeah, I believe that, if the Briscoes showed up on Ring of Honor, or showed up on AEW, the Young Bucks would shit themselves. Like, they wouldn't know what to do.
That'll be the Briscoe brothers. Hopefully they can win this match.
Yeah, I haven't seen them taking pot shots at FTR left and right on social media here and there. And we'll see what happens, because I know they're controversial in their past and stuff, at least online. So that's the big thing, though. Like when you're saying if they show up to challenge Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy and stuff, that'll cause a big pop for, like, us wrestling fans and AEW fans and Ring of Honor fans, but it'll also cause a big pop on Twitter, like, what the hell are these guys doing here? I thought AEW were more progressive than letting them in, and that's gonna cause a shitstorm. Hashtag cancel Tony Khan, whatever else.
Yeah, but they've already done that with Jeff Hardy too. Like, if they let Jeff Hardy in, then they'll let anyone in. Because, like, I've already said my piece with him, but I mean, the guy's a liability, and yet they rehire him, and then it's like, but he's popular. It's like, you know what, whatever. So if they let him in, then anyone's possible at this point. And I think yes, he did say what he said back in 2013, but he did own up to it. He didn't try to deny it. He did say what he said, and he said, I was trying to, he was trying to, he couldn't justify what he said. He admitted that. But, again, he's also a very staunch redneck. So, like, it's not a gimmick. They actually are rednecks. So, I just think it's sad. But if that's the reason you don't have one of the best tag teams on the planet in your ring, like, come on, guys. Like, it's a financial decision, and legitimately, WWE has been trying to sign the Briscoe brothers for over 12 years. They've been trying to sign them to be in WWE, and they even they even talked about that in Final Battle. Like, Jay Briscoe literally said, we've been approached multiple times by the big people in Connecticut, but they wanted us to change our hair, they wanted us to change our style, they wanted us to change how we look. We're like, that's not us, man. You take us as we are, you don't take us, and that's how we are. And I'm like, good for them, good for them. It's very hard to find in this industry people that have that much, like, self-worth,
Like a certain individual with a neck tattoo.
It looked like he got French kissed by a Decepticon.
Oh God, yeah, that's one hell of a hickey, yeah.
All right, so who did DJF say?
Also the Briscoes. It's a clean sweep for the Briscoes.
Woo! Awesome. All right, so the final match, the main event, winner take all, which was originally supposed to happen at Final Battle, but unfortunately, the Ring of Honor World Champion at the time, Bandito, had come down with a case of COVID, so he was unable to attend Final Battle, and instead they had Jonathan Gresham fighting Jay Lethal for the reinstated Ring of Honor original World Championship, so the original Silver World Championship. Now, to date, post-Final Battle, Jonathan Gresham has gone to GCW. He's gone to several different indie promotions. He's been on Impact. He's been everywhere defending that belt. Even at his own new promotion, Terminus. He has been defending the Ring of Honor Original Championship everywhere, and it has been seen more as the Ring of Honor World Championship. However, Bandito has also defended the newer designed Ring of Honor World Championship a couple of places. Not as many. About twice he's defended it now. But Gresham has defended it about 5 times. So this match is to really see who is the real, definitive, undisputed Ring of Honor World Championship. You have one of the best technical wrestlers on the planet, and you have one of the best lucha libres on the planet with Bandito. And it's going to... I'm going to call this now. This match is going to blow away anything that WWE or Rainbow NXT have this weekend. This one match is going to blow all of those matches away. I'm calling that now. So, in that regard, and this is hard, I really don't know who I'm going to pick. Because I love both of them. But if you put a gun to my head, which is kind of metaphorically what we're doing here, I'm going to go with Gresham. What do you guys think?
Well, I guess you can kind of call me biased, or, gotta represent the paisas in the house. But, yeah, I'm gonna go with Bandito. I just like his overall look. And I mean, I've seen him here and there in posters and this and that. I haven't actually seen him wrestle, but I love his overall look. It looks fucking badass. And based on what you're saying now, he's probably one of the best luchadors of the world. Like, holy shit, you know? So yeah, I'm gonna go for Bandito, man. Now, of course, it's gonna be one hell of a big ass match. I don't expect it to be easy. I expect Gresham to push him to the absolute limit and everything. Now, I was also kind of curious because I seen the image. He has a belt of his own. Like, what belt is that?
So the belt that he's carrying, the belt that Gresham has, is the Ring of Honor original design belt. So it's the original belt. The belt that Bandito has was the Ring of Honor World Championship, the newer design, the last championship. So he has the actual, he never lost that belt. So he has the newer design, Gresham has the older design. So whoever wins this will be the World Championship. And whether or not, I'm not sure which belt they will take, or if they'll take both belts, or if they'll take both belts and scrap them and make a new belt. I don't know. I really don't know. So, like I said, whoever wins this will be the champion, period. Because, and what's so crazy is this was the match, this match was hyped for over a year and a half to happen, and it was supposed to happen at Final Battle, because it was, what made the story so interesting with both of them is both of these guys, for their entire careers, were told they were never going to be world champions, ever. Both of them. Gresham worked his ass off for over 15 years, scraping through every wrestling promotion from New Japan to GCW to Ma and Pa shows to everywhere to make a name for himself. And he finally, in Ring of Honor, he cemented his legacy as the octopus of technical wrestling ability. And Bandito, it's hard to explain, but if you don't understand Lucha Libre culture, what people don't understand is it's very, very familial. It's very much, your Lucha Libre masks are only recognized if you are heritage. So, for some reason, in Lucha Libre culture in Mexico, they believe if you are not heritaged, you are not a luchador. So, because of that, and I don't understand this logic, despite their technical ability, despite their accomplishments, despite everything, and I'm not joking about this, in Mexico, Pentagon, Rey Fenix, Bandito, when he was a luchador, Andrade and RoH, and Dragon Lee, all six of them are not considered real luchadors, according to Mexico, because they are considered they call them imposter luchadors. I don't know the term imposter in Spanish, but it's that lucha.
I mean, impostor, right?
Yeah, impostor lucha. That's what they're referred to as. So, Bandito was not given any respect when he was in Mexico. He busted his ass in every way, shape, or form to prove that he was the best of the best, that he's like, hey, I may not be heritage, but I am the best, and people disregarded him because of his heritage. So, because his family was like very poor and they weren't like considered like, it was a whole thing. But basically, just like Gresham, he went through so much bullshit, and he beat RoH, who's also one of the best was one of the best lucha libres in his, and he beat him to win the Ring of Honor World Championship and finally be that guy. And, you know, so it was literally like Gresham finally got his opportunity. He was the underdog. Bandito was the underdog. They were both guys who their careers were told never going to happen, be a champion, you know, culminating into a clash of like, we're both underdogs. We both got to the top of this mountain. Let's see who stays on this top of the mountain. And it's kind of cool because that story's still going on, and they're both technically the same champion, but this match is to determine who is the mountain. Like, who's the mountain? Who stays on top and who goes back to the bottom? So it's a really cool story, just the whole build up to it. Like I said, it's been going on for about a year and a half, all the way through their entire careers too, from their entire careers to this year and a half. So as I said, it's gonna be an amazing match. It is really gonna be like, get the popcorn ready, don't leave your seat, hold in your pee, watch this match. But again, yeah, I really couldn't call it if you put a gun to, but I just gut instinct. But yeah, it's astounding that, like I said, to me it's insane that they don't consider the Lucha Brothers luchadors, and they don't consider Bandito a luchador. I'm like, what the hell?
DJF also went for Gresham, and on that note, what do you say, Johnny?
Wow, this is a tough decision. Well, I guess the Latinos have to be in the house, so it's gonna be Bandito.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we got another split down the middle.
Yep, we gotta stick to our own, guy. You know, we gotta stick with our own. You know what I mean?
Yep. This is going to be a great match. This is going to be a great show, and I'm so hyped for this. This has been a long time coming, and Tony Khan did say something, which maybe, who knows. He did say, for those of you that think whatever scheduled is all we have, you're going to be very surprised when you watch the show. That's all he said. So I don't know what that means. And one final note I will say, they did officially announce that the color commentary team of Ian Riccaboni and Caprice Coleman, the voices of Ring of Honor, before they left the air, are coming back once again to commentate, and I am so happy for it. They might even bring back the original announcer, although it does suck that Quinn McKay isn't going to be there because he's also signed with WWE, but it does break my heart because they're two of my favorite female wrestlers, and I know how WWE treats them is going to be awful. So, you know what? More positivity. It's going to be a great show. It's going to be a great night for wrestling fans, and I think everyone's going to enjoy this show. Even if you never watched Ring of Honor, I think everyone should tune in and watch it.
I've been watching it I've been watching off and on, because like I said before, when AEW came in, a lot of familiar faces, because thanks to watching Ring of Honor, I already knew, the new incarnation of Cody, businessman type, the Geese Howard Cody. I already knew the Young Bucks, I already knew Hangman, and I already knew SCU, because I saw them all there. And of course, haven't seen, but heard of Kenny Omega. So I kind of knew a lot of these quote-unquote new faces, thanks to Ring of Honor. And I remember Cheeseburger. I remember Bully Ray. The one part that always got me, which is kind of funny, but I guess it's just different TV things. Because I guess WWE was always on like a cable channel, right? USA Network or whatever. So they would beat people up with candlesticks, like, for no reason or something. You know what I mean? They would beat themselves with kendo sticks, and it wouldn't be a big deal, is what I'm trying to say. So, since I guess Ring of Honor was more like on regular network TV, I remember there was a match, well, not a match, more like a segment, I guess. It was something like Flip Johnson was going to have a match with Bully Ray eventually. It was kind of like how MJF put like Jericho and them during all these different things they have to do, and if they do all these things, then you'll have your match. So one of the things was that they had Flip Johnson basically just stand there and not move and allow Bully Ray to beat him with 10 cane strikes, and if he could like do that without the urge of fighting back or whatever, they'll have a match. But the funny thing for me is I was so used to seeing kendo sticks in WWE here and there and pay-per-views and whatever, that it was funny seeing the commercial break and whatever, and like the following scenes may disturb some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised, and it's Bully Ray bopping him with the kendo stick, and I'm like, okay. I've seen worse, but I guess just different rules and all that. But that part I'll always remember.
I have so many memories of Ring of Honor. I can't even. Yeah, I'm a purist. But to be fair, the past couple of years prior to the pandemic, I had distanced myself from it. I think like 2018, the last real thing I watched of Ring of Honor after 2018 was after the pandemic. So like from 18 to 20. I was kind of in a gap of I'm not going to really watch Ring of Honor. I've always watched it on and off, but I watched a lot of the older stuff off of tapes because my friend had like old DVDs of them, and I'm like, oh man, this is good stuff, you know. The only issue I ever had was the production quality was never, you know, the best. But as I said, now that Tony's in charge, hopefully that changes because I think that he could. You know, he could really help elevate this thing because it really is. I equate wrestling. It's weirdly enough, I equate wrestling to types of food, like food. So, like, if I were to say AEW was anything, I'd say it's like In-N-Out Burger. Yes, it's technically a chain, but it's a regional chain. So it's like, you know, it's really, really good, but it's only available in a certain capacity. So it makes it more treasured, if that makes any sense. And then, like, I see New Japan as like a steakhouse that's also a chain, but it's a really well-maintained steakhouse. And then and WWE is, of course, McDonald's. So, you know, no one ever eats McDonald's because it's like their favorite food. Let's be honest here. No one has ever like, if I had one favorite food of all time, it's McDonald's. No one has ever said that in the history of forever.
Oh, it's basically like the pit stop food.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even then,
it's like, it's here. I got $5.
It's like if you're in a certain place and the only restaurant that's there, it's McDonald's. Okay, well, I guess, you know, you still got to eat something, you know.
Right. And Ring of Honor is like a food truck. Like, it's really good food, really good quality, but the problem is it's just not good at marketing. Like, you have to look for it. You have to go out of your way for it. That's kind of how I see Ring of Honor is. So if you were to take like food truck food, like really good food truck food, and give it to like an actual like marketing team, you could do so much money. But that's basically what Tony's in now. He's in the boat of if he can just, he has a golden ticket to get extra cash. If he can just use that golden ticket, if he doesn't do what Vince does, he won't, because he's proven me a doubter. If you guys have listened to our podcast for long enough, you know I was a hater. I admit it. I freely admit it. But my hatred was more for not Tony, but for seeing the seeds of what Tony would be turning it into. I was worried that he was going to turn AEW into WWE 2. But since he got rid of Cody, since he revoked the Elite's power from creative, everyone has seen a huge shift in popularity of the system. Like of AEW, you can see the quality changing, getting better. It's about quality over. It's about quality and marketing, not just marketing, or not just quality. It has to be a balance of both. And I think that Tony can elevate AEW to a level, not quite to AEW's capacity, but hopefully at least to a little higher than Impact's. Because in my mind, if I in my mind, in my world, there's only 5 promotions that matter. In my world, there's New Japan Pro Wrestling, Stardom, AEW, Ring of Honor, and Impact, and that's it. The rest of them are non-existent to me. But that's me. As far as I'm concerned, that's just my opinion, though. Those are the 5 that matter to me. And enough of my ranting. I'm done.
I want to say just 2 of my little memories of Ring of Honor, besides all the tassels, or the confetti, the whatever you call it, the streamers or whatever. You know what I mean? How they always fill the ring with all of the weird confetti stuff or whatever it's called, like.
Oh yeah. That's from old. That's actually traditional from Japanese wrestling. They used to do that. It was. It's a sign of because in Japan, wrestling is considered a sport, so it's kind of the equivalent of like back in the day they used to do that for like sumo matches and for other sports in Japan where they would throw confetti or they would throw things, and instead they found it more effective to throw streamers. And it's cool. I like that. I think it's a cool concept. Have all the people in the front row have a thing of streamers. That's a cool idea. I wish more shows would do that, to be honest. Like, I wish there's another concept I wish that they would do, but I'll get into that another day. But yeah, I think it's a cool idea. Like, I would love it if like a Double or Nothing or if like All Out, the main event, like right before the match ends, like all the people around the ring get like their streamers and like throw it at the winner. I'm like, that would be a cool idea.
Yeah. Well, anyways, like I was gonna say, 2 memories I got besides watching some of the matches and the kendo stick thing I mentioned earlier. One time I did like the pro wrestling crate plug, where sometimes if you buy a shirt, it's like I forgot how much. Like I think it's like $5 extra or something. You get a random shirt. And I got one that was from Los Ingobernables de Japón, and it was just cool. And the whole day at work, I kept trying to translate everyone what that shirt meant, But it was just my luck that same weekend, because Ring of Honor was like Saturday, I guess technically Sunday, because it's like past 1 in the morning when it would air it in my area. And yeah, my luck would have it, those Ingobernables de Japón would be performing that same night. So that was cool for me to watch them in action. And one thing I also found funny was this one match. I forgot who they were against, but it was, Cody and Business Bear and Brandy versus whoever. And the funny part is somewhere during the match, one of the opponents actually knocked Business Bear's head off, and the dude just fell off in some angle where you can't see, like, who he is under the mask or whatever, and like it fell on Brandy, and Brandy was screaming bloody murder as if it was like, like that was his real actual head, you know what I mean? It was just so funny and cheesy.
Yeah. I remember that was funny.
Yeah, you missed it, Johnny. Back in the day, when Cody was in Ring of Honor, but when he was still acting kind of sort of like how he acted when the earlier days of AEW, kind of like that. He had Brandy with him, and he had this guy in a business suit with a cartoony bear head, and he was like quote unquote Business Bear, and it was kind of cheesy. But so yeah.
Also, when Cody was the champion, he decided and this is one of the reasons Ring of Honor doesn't like Cody. The real truth, he decided to do something that was so stupid that they were like, okay, maybe we'll see what happens, and the ratings plummeted so hard. He decided, I'm going to smelt down the Ring of Honor World Championship and turn it into a literal Ring of Honor. And he would wear it around like MJF has the diamond.
Hey, whoa, wait a minute. I remember now. Was that the ring that he had people kiss all the time? That's what it was?
Yes, it was the Ring of Honor Championship.
Oh my god, because I remember, do you guys remember, because he's been busy now, wife, kids, family. And you remember Macho Taco, he got to meet Cody back in those Ring of Honor days. He got to kiss the ring.
Yeah, that's the Ring of Honor World Championship. It was the Ring of Honor ring. Yeah, so it was it's decisions like that that people go, who decided to put him in charge of booking AEW?
Yeah, but the thing is, he always had it though, so he never actually lost it in the match or anything before they got the idea that
he lost it to Dalton Castle, and then Dalton Castle brought back, because Dalton Castle, his gimmick is he's extremely flamboyantly gay. Like he's like if Elton John and Velveteen Dream combined. So yeah, like he comes out to like a remix version of he came out to a remix version of Radio Gaga, and then he came out to a remix version of Princes of the Universe. He calls himself the Peacock. He has a harem of guys following him who clap. Anyway, long story. He's a really talented wrestler, though.
Random question. Not that it matters, but is he really gay, or is it kind of like I only play one on TV, or how does that?
No, he's actually openly gay. He's totally fine with it. So he's like, you know what? I'm gay. I'm totally fine with it. And everyone's like, all right, have at it. Cool. As long as he can wrestle, he can. And he's a great wrestler. He actually, on a side note, he actually won the championship beating. It was in a fatal 4-way, and it was him. No, it was a triple threat. It was him, Jay Lethal, and Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes lost to so Dalton Castle won the world championship. He tried taking the ring and Cody wouldn't give it to him, and he literally said, I don't need that ring, honey. I'm gonna make a title, and it's gonna be amazing, and it's gonna be shiny, and it's gonna be sparkly. And that's the title that Bandito has, is the Ring of Honor World Championship. So like kind of shimmers when it's on in gold, but that was created by Dalton Castle because Cody wouldn't give back the ring. So yeah, like I said, that's kind of where that, and then eventually, and this just shows how much of a pro Dalton Castle is. He eventually lost the title to Jay Lethal, and then Jay Lethal was the world champion for a long time. But after he lost the world championship, they found out for like the year that Dalton was wrestling, he was wrestling with a fractured tailbone, which meant he was wrestling from when he won the title to all the way to losing it, which was like about a year. He won the title before he won the title to when he lost the title, for like, I want to say this happened for about a year. He had a fractured tailbone and he was wrestling as good as he did. And I'm like, damn. I was like, ooh, I can't imagine the pain he must have been through.
Especially all the slams and stuff, man. Like, damn.
Oh, yeah. And his thing, by the way, his finishing move is also a reference to Hook, and it's called the Bangarang.
That's another thing. Just random question. Are all their events on Fridays? I find that kind of, or is it just because this big weekend with all the other wrestling events?
No. It was originally scheduled to happen. On Saturday, but then they decided because it's WrestleMania weekend, they realized, oh shit, no one's gonna watch it, so they switched it over to Friday.
Okay, that makes more sense, because I'm like, dude, really? Friday? Yeah. Like, I mean,
it's supposed to be a Saturday, but yeah, like it's like that, and they did the same thing with Universal. The Multiverse of Matches is supposed to be on Saturdays too, but because it's on WrestleMania, and the WrestleMania is doing the 2-night event bullshit again, copying New Japan, lazy asses. Yeah. And but Friday, it's the only thing that's happening on WWE is the Hall of Fame, or Vince's Hall of whatever his ego was called. Anyway.
Now, New Japan Pro Wrestling, never heard of them. But for us, WrestleMania, 2-night event, we do it because it's such good shit.
Yeah, I'm like, literally, like, it's so blatantly obvious they stole from New Japan. It's not even funny.
Never heard of them. I don't know what you're talking about.
What are you talking about? Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, I think we're going to have to call it a night then.
Yeah, we'll see you all later, guys. Yeah, so that's a new thing we'll be seeing, especially now since there's a bit of crossover here and there. If things don't get too crazy, I don't know how often Ring of Honor's pay-per-views are, but as long as they're not too crazy, we might be covering them from here on out to kind of, you know, give it a little difference from just AEW all the time and stuff like that. And we'll see how it goes. So yeah, for the Diamond Cutter Wrestling Podcast, stay tuned for Monday or a bit after Monday to watch the results of the match, see who was right and who was wrong, see who else joins us. And yeah, this is Mark Rodriguez signing off.
This is Johnny Rodriguez. Thank you for inviting me in this podcast. Pretty awesome.
And this is Jack from Jack Knives Reviews, signing out.